If you want to find out how to create editable gradient text in Illustrator and also find out why it works the way it does, you're in the right place, and that's here in the Work Smarter Not Harder Dojo with me, Tony Harmer, aka the Design Ninja. Okay, so I have here a piece of editable text. Now, if you've ever tried to apply a gradient to text in Illustrator, you've probably noticed this. If I go to the Appearance panel here and go to the fill and choose one of the built-in gradients, there you go. You're probably underwhelmed by that actual fact that it does that there's no gradient actually applied, even though it shows that there is one. I'm just going to undo that and pop the Appearance panel open so you can actually see what the type is. Illustrator disconnects the type from the characters, so the appearance of the type can be modified, but the underlying characters still remain. And you may well wonder why that is. Well, the answer is accessibility. If you put this into a PDF, the text is still machine readable, so it can be accessed by screen readers, which is important so that you're producing inclusive work. And it keeps its editability for us in Illustrator as well. So how do you do it? Well, first of all, if we look at the toolbox just here, the fill is in front. And what I'm going to do is just tap the slash key on my keyboard, and that removes that fill attribute. At the moment, it doesn't have one at all. I'm going to hold down the Command key, that would be Control on Windows, and hit the slash key to add a new fill. Now, if I go ahead here and just open the Appearance panel just a bit more, you'll see that it's applied that on top of the characters. If I now tap the period key on my keyboard, you can see I've got that gradient there. Now, why did I do the step to remove the earlier fill to do that? Well, here's the answer. If I just undo that a couple of times, okay, and go back to my Appearance panel here, so we're back in the default state, and then add a new fill, and then add the gradient, you might just see that on the edges of the text, there's this very, very faint outline in the lighter characters just there, and you don't ordinarily want that because sometimes it does carry through. So that's why you remove that in the first place. But what about if you also want a stroke on the text using a gradient? You're probably saying, oh, I need to outline that to do that. Well, actually, you don't, because now you understand how this actually works. If I go ahead and undo till we're back in the default state here, so I'm going to remove that fill like so. Now, instead of adding a new fill using Command or Control slash, I'm going to use Option Command or Alt Control slash to add a new stroke. Now, don't worry here about the fact that because this is a kind of scripty like font that these are overlapping. We'll deal with that in just a moment. But here, just as before, I can go ahead and add a gradient. Now let's up the stroke here so it's a little bit more impressive, and also let's go ahead and work on the gradient itself. Let's go from something that is maybe this magenta-like color here through to something opposite like yellow, like that. Now don't forget that this is still a stroke, so if you've got things that you're not happy with, okay, such as the mitering or the joins here, you can always change those. If you look at the A character here, you can see how that changes. Just look at this point just here. If I go ahead and change that to round join, and in all honesty, that fixes an awful lot of things doing that. We can also change the way the gradient works on a stroke. Just make sure that stroke is in front here, by the way, in the view you've got there. And you can see I can apply it along the stroke as well. And if I just move away, you can see that that looks a bit weird at the moment because it's dealing with these as different objects. And indeed, it would do that anyway with the dot above the I here, and also the G is separated. And you can do it so it goes across the stroke as well, which can give you a really nice effect. But how do we deal with these joins and still make it editable? Well, the answer is a Pathfinder effect. If we go ahead here and go to the FX tab or to the Effect menu in the top level menu system, come down and choose Pathfinder, and you can use that here because the characters are separate from the actual appearance, right? So it allows it to be treated as kind of a group. And if we choose Add, you'll now see that it joins all of those things together, but they are still completely editable and, more importantly for accessibility, machine readable text. So there you go. You know how to apply them and you know why it works the way it does. It's not a bug, despite what other people tell you. Okay, and that's it for now. We are done, and I'll see you next time here in the Work Smarter, Not Harder Dojo. See ya.